Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me. Welcome, kindreds. It's Jessica the Story Witch, and I'm going to do a review of this book, Moonology by Yasmin Boland. I've seen a couple of people on YouTube having to talk about what's in here, and I just kind of wanted to give my perspective on it, really. So the book came out in 2016, I think. I've had it about a year now. Yes, 2016. So I've had it about a year, and first of all, when I first got it, I was excited to receive it because she's got a website, and that'd probably be a good starting point, actually, if you haven't read this book yet or you're kind of curious. If you pop over to her website, which I think is moonology.com, but I'll link it all down below and everything anyway. She has like kind of columns and things like that, lots of information about the moon. So a lot of the stuff that is in this book is over on her website already, but it is kind of useful having it all together in one place. And it was one of those books that when I started reading it, I was like, oh no, I wanted to write this book. But actually, as I kind of got further in, there are some differences between her practice and my practice, which which I feel obviously my practice is the way to go. But I do recommend this because it is, especially if you're just kind of starting to work with the moon cycles and things. She has a lot of information on kind of what to do on the new moon, or the dark moon as I call it, according to the sign of the moon. And she also, which I definitely do think adds another layer of kind of perspective and of deeper working, she talks about how the energy of the house that the moon is in for you, and she explains how to kind of like work that out and things as well. So if you don't know, then you can do that. Although I personally prefer astro.com for working out. If you're using Yasmin Boland uses the Western astrology approach, which kind of divides the zodiac into 12 equal signs, and those don't quite add up now exactly to what is happening in the sky. So even though the moon in astrology will be, like, say, in Aries, it might still be in Pisces if you actually look into the sky. But things have kind of changed over the last 1,000 years or so since astrology was kind of set up. But she uses that Western astrology approach, which layers the signs and the meanings of the moon in the sign and the meanings of the moon in your house. So those are two really good sections, and she gives you things that you can actually do on the new moons. She explains what the energy of that moon in your house, in the particular house it falls in your chart, means. So for example, I just opened it to new moon in your first house, which the first house would be is actually Aries, if you're kind of looking at a kind of imaginary horoscope, that it would be Aries. So it's very much about that kind of starting energy. And so she says it's all about the images you present into the world, what to expect. And these titles, it's all about what to expect, what to wish for, what to visualize, ideas to keep in mind, messages, meditation booster, ritual, things to do. She gives these for every single house, so you can work through those things. So it's very, very practical, and it's super, super easy to read. The actual information, the kind of general information, you could read in a couple of hours, but then the kind of moon specific information, house specific information, then you can keep kind of going and referring back to, which is really handy. I've got little tabs in of places and things that I am referring to, little bits of litter that I've stuffed in instead of bookmarkers. So yeah, I would recommend it. If you aren't kind of fussed on angels, then a little bit of it might grind on you a little bit, because she does talk a little bit about angels, but you can totally just skirt over that bit if that's not your thing at all. She wrote a book with Doreen Virtue a while back, and you can see that she is kind of still quite influenced by angels and that kind of like higher almost like heavenly body things. So, but you can skirt over that if that does not float your boat. You know, you don't have to buy into that. And if you do, then obviously you will probably enjoy that aspect of it as well. She gives for the moons the guiding archangel, the guiding goddess, and the universal law. She also gives like chakras to work with. She gives the 3D chakras, which are kind of the ones that we most usually talk about, and also the 5D chakras, which if you're into like the law of attraction and things like that, then the 5D chakras are kind of like the chakras as they exist in source, or in that kind of universal space. Yeah, so there is a lot in there, and it's the sort of thing that you would want to keep kind of referring back to. It isn't the cheapest, and obviously it's Hay House, so a lot of the money will have gone on the marketing and things again, so it will have made a lot of money for Hay House, if not a lot of money for Yasmin. But yeah, I definitely do think it's worth buying. It, like I say, it gives the new moon, the moon in your house, and it also gives full moon things to do on the full moon as well. So if you're just starting a moon practice, or even if you have a moon practice and you're looking for a little bit more information on things that you can do, and how the different energy of the moon's energy at different times and in different signs and different houses, if you're interested in that, then this would be a really, really good book for you. What it doesn't have so much of is the explanation of how the moon energy changes through different phase, through as the moon is waxing and waning, different days even have different kind of energies and stuff as well. So she doesn't talk so much about that, which I can totally understand, because it's already not a completely tiny book, and if she'd gone into all that as well, then it probably would have been a bit dense. And also I think kind of as an astrologer, that is not something that she would be working mainly on, the full and new moons, and working with that energy. She does mention, I'm pretty sure she mentions the quarter moons as well, which is when it looks like a half moon in the sky, because that is when the moon and the sun would be making like a square to each other. So that can be like a little bit of a tense time. So she does talk about that, but she doesn't talk sort of like moon day 1, moon day 2, she doesn't break it down like that, like you might find in like an almanac or something like that. So if you're looking for that kind of detailed information, this does not have that. But overall, I would say it's a very good read. Lots of good information in there, and like I said, it's an easy read, but it's one that I sort of was like, oh yeah, I know this, blah blah blah. But I have actually referred back to it quite often, so it is useful even if you are quite kind of settled in with your moon practice as well. I'm like, oh, I wonder what she's got to say about that. And I've opened it and had a little dig through. Yeah, so I have found it interesting and useful, and yeah, you might too. If you have got the book already, then let me know what you think of it, and and if you liked it, or if there was anything about it that you didn't like. It's very easy to read. She writes in a quite accessible style, and her website is very much like that as well. So if you do like the articles and stuff over there, you probably will like the style of writing in here. And yeah, if you didn't like it, then also let me know why as well. That would be cool to know. I'm going to try and do some more kind of moon. I've just got so many videos I want to film. I'm going to try and do some more moon resources for people. I would love to write a book, and at some point I will, I think, write a book on like moon wisdom for witches, or even generally astrology for witches, because it's kind of the things we want to know, and not necessarily just the kind of manifestation. This book is very much built around manifestation, which obviously is part of magic, but it's not a book for witches specifically. It's a book for people looking to raise their vibration and do the kind of things that we do as witches. We do. I sounded really Welshy then. But it's not kind of like specifically giving timings for magical workings and things like that. So yeah, it's not quite the book for that, and I haven't found quite the book for that, so that's the sort of book that I will hopefully write at some point. But yeah, I'm not sure when, because all my time at the moment is taken up with trying to do bits of writing and making videos and stuff like that as well, and talking to you guys. So yeah, let me know what you thought of it, or if you're thinking about it, and if you've got any questions of things I haven't mentioned in this review, then let me know. I haven't quoted anything out of here, because it's all kind of I suppose I read some of the titles, but it's not like, it's not a polemic or anything, you know. It's no kind of like persuasive stuff. It's just kind of like nuts and bolts stuff. So there wasn't really anything that I felt particularly quote worthy out of here. It is just kind of something you want to refer back to. So yeah, let me know what you thought in the comments, and thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you very soon. Da, 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 da.